ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Last week we had completed studying the chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So today we shall do the summary of chapter 2. Chapter 2 is entitled as Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means the yoga of knowledge. The first chapter was entitled as Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is talking about the despondent state in which Arjuna had fallen. Arjuna Vishada Yoga means the yoga of Arjuna's despondent state. And in that chapter, we had seen there is more psychology than philosophy because Arjuna collapses. He succumbs to the emotional pressure because he had to fight against his own guru and great-grandfather, whom he respects a lot, who has a lot of regards for them. In fact, what he is today is because of them. But the situation is such that to defend righteousness, he had to fight against them. Personally, they are also righteous. But to do their duty, they fight on the side of Duryodhana, Kauravas. So Arjuna comes to the battlefield, ready to fight, but after seeing them, he collapses. We have seen all that in, when we did the first chapter summary. So a person who completely collapsed surrenders to Sri Krishna in the second chapter, verse number 7 exactly. And then Sri Krishna gave the knowledge that revived Arjuna. Arjuna only represents you and me. We also succumb to emotions, succumb to external pressure. We may be extremely intelligent, well experienced. Everything may be there. But when the situation comes which is challenging, we get completely bogged down by those emotions. So in this chapter, Sri Krishna gives the knowledge because only here Arjuna surrenders and becomes a student. Therefore, Sri Krishna gives the knowledge, which helps him to get up. And then he fought the battle beautifully and won the war. We know the story. So this chapter, Sankhya Yoga, has 72 shlokas. And these 72 shlokas are divided into 6 topics by Swamiji. This division is not there in the original Gita. It is by Swamiji, who has divided this in different topics to make us understand the thought flow. It is extremely important to grasp the thought flow and then bring about the transformation within. See, mere information is not enough. And the transformation can come only when we grasp the thought flow and, compare it and contrast it with our own personal life and see where all we need to really improve, rise. And this is a constant struggle till we die. That's why we say in some other context that as a student of Vedanta, we are all, from one angle, if you look at it, we may call ourselves as Brahmanas. Though we may not have, some may be born as Brahmins, some may not be. But since you are studying the Vedas or Vedanta, interested in it, accordingly you are also trying to live a Vedantic lifestyle, there is Brahmanic tendency. Sattva is high, so you can say you are a Brahmana. But actually, they are all Shudras. Because if you say a Shudra is one who is constantly cleaning, doing service, cleansing, menial work, we are also doing the same thing. We are supposed to cleanse the dirt within. We have no other business. Swami Ramtirtha beautifully says, wanted reformers, not of others, but of themselves. We are here to reform ourselves. The more we reform, the more dirt comes to light. We start seeing more dirt from within, not outside. To the extent we stop reflecting, we'll start seeing the dirt outside. Dirt in the sense, a small dirt, which is nothing compared to the dirt we have within. We'll blow it out of proportion. That's what that poem, Turkey and the Ant, says. Ere you remark another sin, with thine own conscience look within, control thy more voracious bill, nor for a breakfast nation skill. Turkey is killing millions of ants for breakfast. And then, as it is doing that atrocious crime of killing so many ants for breakfast, especially when the grain is available, just for the palate's sake, because that's how the poem begins. The poet beautifully begins the poetry by saying, Turkey, tired of common food, forsook the barn and sought the wood. Variety needed for the sake of palate, not for the sake of survival, not because hungry I need food. Millions of ants. And for gluttony, for greed, the turkey is killing. And while the turkey is killing millions of ants, the turkey, the mother bird, talks about the 7 deadly sins. Of that, talks about gluttony as the greatest, worst form of sin, which the turkey is criticizing human being for, as if turkey is not, turkey is pure. She is pure, So she is complaining. Therefore, the poet is saying, because every Christmas, human beings have the tradition, in certain tradition, they have this habit of having turkey. One turkey, maybe 6 or 8 people will have, I don't know. And maybe 4, I don't know. But one turkey, once in a year they kill, and they're having it, and that too 4 to 8 people. What is that compared to one turkey killing millions of ants for one breakfast? What about lunch and dinner? Every day, if the turkey is doing like this, it's a bigger crime. But it is difficult to see our own fault. It is easier to see external faults, and that too very, very small it may be in comparison to what we have, what we suffer from. So that's why the poet says, you should not be extroverted, you should become introverted. Ere you remark another's sin, with thy own conscience look within, control thy more voracious bill, nor for a breakfast nation skill. Killing a nation of ants for breakfast. So why I'm quoting this is to tell ourselves that we are sitting here to reform ourselves. The more we reform ourselves, the more blemish we start seeing in us. We have to constantly cleanse ourselves till we become absolutely transparent and realize the self, enlightened. So, this chapter has 72 slokas, as I said. To get that thought flow, Swamiji has divided it into 6 topics. The first topic is from sloka number 1 to 10. Sloka number 1 to 10, the topic is Arjuna's despondent condition. He hasn't finished yet. In the whole of first chapter he is going on talking. And he gives all kinds of nonsense as his logic. Literally speaking, it is nonsense. But he is so disturbed, he is so confused, he is so deluded. For him, it looks like logic. So he's trying to defend his stance. See, he requests Sri Krishna, Senayoru Bhayor Madhye Ratam Stapayame Achyuta. He tells Sri Krishna in 21st shloka of chapter 1, take my chariot and place it in between both the armies. I would like to see who all have come to fight. Like I said, he wants to do SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat and all that. And Sri Krishna nicely understood. Because what does he say? Senayoru Bhayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Me Achyuta. My chariot. Take my chariot and place it in between both the armies. The biggest problem in life is my. The me and mine. The I, me and mine. And we all suffer from that. And that is the root cause of all our samsara, all our bondage. So, Arjuna is having this. Sri Krishna understood that when he said, take my chariot and place it in between both the armies. And Sri Krishna nicely took the chariot and placed it right in front of Bhishma and Drona. Because he knows, if you look at Arjuna's CV, he is the best CV you could ever have. His would be the best. But he knows in practical sense whether he will be able to stand up to this test. And he failed. He starts blabbering. He says, "Arey Baba, I can't fight this battle." He completely gets stressed. He himself says that. "I'm having auriculation. My knees have become weak. My mouth is parched. I can't stand," he says. What is that? These are all signs of stress. He's completely stressed. And then he keeps quiet, saying, "I will not fight." Till then, Sri Krishna can't talk because he's talking. How he can talk? When Arjuna is talking, how Sri Krishna can talk? And Arjuna is not talking as a student. He's talking as a friend. He's talking as somebody who is extremely knowledgeable. He's talking as somebody who knows. So Sri Krishna keeps quiet. And when Arjuna keeps quiet after giving all kinds of logic and says, "I will not fight," means he almost comes to conclusion that it is better for him not to fight. He should not fight because he thinks it's very unrighteous to fight against good people. Individually, if you analyze Bhishma, Drona, and few more people in the Kaurava camp, they are good people. But there is no personal vengeance for which he has gone there. He's gone there to establish righteousness, and he's not gone there as Arjuna. He's gone there as a soldier for the country to defend the righteous situation. Unrighteousness has taken over righteousness, and they tried all means. Samadhana, Bhed, they tried. Nothing worked. When Samadhana, Bhed didn't work, what's the last thing that they are left with? Danda. And that also, if you see in the first chapter, who blew the conch first? The conch was first blown, declaring the war by Bhishma Pitamaha. So, like Shakespeare says, "Beware of entrance to a quarrel, being in, beareth that the enemy beware of thee." You don't start the war. But to defend unrighteousness, when these fellows have, blown the bugle, you got to fight. You got to stand up and deliver as a Kshatriya. He loses clarity. He becomes emotional. And when stress takes over, you cannot think properly. When you can't think properly, you cannot act properly. And when stress becomes too much, you literally cannot think and you completely become inactive. And that's what happens to Arjuna. He drops his weapons and says, "I will not fight." And when he said, "I will not fight," then Sri Krishna starts speaking. And that is divided by sage Vyasa as second chapter. In fact, when the conversation is there, happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, now Sri Krishna, Arjuna would have not been saying, "Okay, first chapter over, now let's start second chapter. The second chapter khatam ho gaya, abhi third chapter shuru karenge." There is no discussion like that amongst them. The conversation is going on. Sage Vyasa, who wrote it down for us, we all must be grateful to him and many great masters who have made sure that even today we have got it. This tradition of having Gita, Jnana, Yajna, Gita study in every house was started by Swami Chinmananda. We all have to be eternally grateful to that great master. And then his disciples like our Guruji, Swami Parthasardhiji, Swami Dayanandji, and many more people, they, continued the legacy. So now the point is, when Arjuna stopped, Sri Krishna starts. And that is entitled as Sankhya Yoga. So in the first 10 shlokas also, Arjuna's condition is kind of the same. That's why it's called as Arjuna's despondent condition. Verse 1 to 10. And in the beginning, Sri Krishna whips Arjuna with powerful words. Kutaskva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam anarya jushtam ashwaryam akirtikaram Arjuna. What are you doing, man? In a battlefield like this, where you have to come and establish righteousness, fight the battle, do your duty. Instead of doing that, you are coming and talking like this. What kind of nonsense is this? That way. He's not saying, "Okay, beta, I understand. You are my dear friend. You are a very nice fellow. It's okay, we'll both of us go back, watch a movie, relax. Then maybe, we'll see if somebody is alive. If our services are required, we'll go back. He's not talking like that. He's saying, stand up to the context, man. See, whatever we study, whatever we learn in life, it has to be fitted into the context. Then only it's wisdom. If you do not know how to fit it into the context, that is not wisdom, that is only information. That's of no use. It is total waste, it is. It is in fact more problem because you've got more information now. You will be confused, you will confuse others also. So, he whips him up with powerful words. He says, Klaibyam masmagam apartha naitad vayupapadyate shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktuvotishta parantapa. What nonsense, man. Wake up, he says. Uttishta, wake up. And then when he whips him up like this, then Arjuna says, Arey Baba, Sri Krishna doesn't seem to understand. Then he comes to the context. Then he explains, listen, I respect Bhishma and Drona a lot. Now, how can I fight against them with weapons? I should be worshipping them. I should be doing pada puja to them, garlanding them. It is in fact the throne renounced by Bhishma Pitamaha for which these people are fighting now. If you know the context, isn't it? Bhishma is rightful owner of the throne. He renounced it and it came to them, now the fellows are fighting. So he says, they are worthy of worship. How can I fight? That's my problem. And then see, Arjuna is also learned. So he knows in the ashrama, which ashrama is he in? He is in Grihastha ashrama. Like, I think in this class, everybody is in Grihastha ashrama. Now, when we are in Grihastha ashrama, we have to take care of the other ashramas. Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. We cannot beg. We cannot depend on them. We are not supposed to. Our duty is to take care of Brahmacharya ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama and Sannyasa ashrama. Like in the modern world, the people who work now, they pay for the pensions of the people who worked in the past. The same thing, in a different way. So, if you are a brahmachari or a sannyasi or a prastha, it's okay. You can beg and live. But as a grihastha, you are supposed to work, contribute, do your duty. In Arjuna's case, it is to fight the battle as a kshatriya. Now, at the same time, he is the grandson of Bhishma and Shishya of, what is his name? Dronacharya. So now he says, as a Shishya, how can I kill my Guru? As a grandson, great grandson, how I can fight against my own grandfather? All this is not correct. So, from that angle, it is wrong. From this angle, it is right. But if from this angle, if I leave and go, that is wrong. So, if I leave the battle and go, it is wrong. But if I fight also, it seems to be wrong. So, it's like I'm confused because my choices are between what? Devil and deep sea. So, what is this nonsense? He is confused. And till now, he was not clear that he is confused. In fact, he was thinking that he is clear. He was confused that he was clear. Now, slowly, he becomes clear that he is confused. Slowly. That's what is happening. Because of Sri Krishna's powerful words, he is waking up. That's what is happening in this first 10 shlokas. Arjuna is waking up. And when Arjuna is waking up, we are supposed to wake up. Wake up because we are also sleeping in our life. Many things we are doing, thinking that we know what to do. We take many things for granted. Recently, we lost one of our, I should say colleagues maybe, Satish ji, our Vedanta class member. Satish Chawla ji has been attending our sessions even before I came to Delhi. Very nice person, very nice gentleman. Even when Sunanda ji came for lectures here in Delhi, many people don't come there. Even one day you can't come. When she can come all the way and come give lectures. One day, all days we are supposed to go there, but even one day people don't come. Satish ji came all the way. He stays so far away in Gurgaon, I know. He came, unfortunately, lost his life. But I know, he is highly sattvic person. We are studying in the Gita, so he will get a right environment. His family will also be blessed. They will be able to handle the pressure, I'm sure. Gita will give them the strength, and he will definitely have Sadgati. But what I'm saying is, anything can happen any minute. On Saturdays, when we do classes, he's one of the gentlemen who reads Swamiji's book, Vedanta Treatise, then we give the explanation. He is not there with us in physical form. Are we prepared? Are we? We are all deluded. Happily, we are sitting thinking, "Arey Baba, I know everything." That is what we have to connect. Otherwise, we think we'll अच्छा story है. Arjuna कैसा हो गया? हम लोग ठीक है. We are worse than Arjuna. At least he chose rightly Sri Krishna. There also we make mistakes. Instead of Sri Krishna, we choose somebody else. So Arjuna is saying, I don't know if I want to stop fighting. I don't want to fight. But if I don't fight, I'm going to commit a crime, sin. Because we will have to pay for omissions and commissions. Doing what we ought not to do, we will have to pay the price. Then, not doing what we ought to do, so that also will pay the price. Doing what we ought not to do, what is that? Committing. Not doing what we ought to do, omitting. So for both omissions and commissions, we'll have to pay the price. Karma. So Arjuna understands. If I fight the battle, I'll be killing good people. I will incur sin. That's his confusion. If I don't fight the battle, I won't be doing my duty as a Kshatriya, as a Grahastha, I'll be committing sin. What is this? Why have I come into such a situation? What am I supposed to do in this context? This is called Dharam Sankat. Dharma Sankatam means between two dharmas. As a Shishya, as a great son, I have a dharma. As a Kshatriya, as a warrior, as a soldier of the country, I have a dharma. Between these two dharmas, I'm confused. What should I do? He's confused. And now he becomes clear that he's confused. That's good for him. So he surrenders to Sri Krishna. Karpanya dosha upahata swabhavaha prichami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha yashreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyaste ham shadimam tvam prapannam. Beautifully, Arjuna surrenders in shloka number 7 of chapter 2. He says, my nature is overpowered by the taint of pity. He's admitting it. You need courage and strength to admit. Arjuna, admitting means he's the leader who everybody is looking up to. Even though he may not be the commander-in-chief of the army of Pandavas, it's like, Virat Kohli is not the captain of this team. Now, Rohit Sharma is the captain. But Virat Sharma is looked upon as a leader also. Virat Kohli, So like that, Arjuna, everybody is looking up. When everybody is looking up in front of all of them to come and say, Karpanya dosha upahata swabhavaha. My nature is overpowered by the taint of pity. Prichamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha. I'm confused about dharma, therefore I'm asking you. What am I asking you? Tell me what is good for me, Shreya. And tell me certainly. Don't confuse me. Be clear, straightforward. Tell me. Yashreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me. Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Why you should tell me? Because I am thy disciple. Why you should talk today? Because we have logged in. Understand? And simply sit down at home. Anyway, these guys will record and they will put it in the YouTube. We'll listen that time. That's different. You understand? But since we have logged in, you better talk. In that sense. Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am completely surrendering to you. Tell me, what am I supposed to do? And 7, then 8, 9, 10, he completes that surrender. And this is what is happening in first 10 shlokas. Arjuna has now become the student. Only when Arjuna has become the Sishya, Sri Krishna is the Guru. Till then, Sri Krishna is not the Guru. He says, I am thy disciple. Till then, how is a Guru? How can he talk? He cannot talk. And especially as a teacher, he cannot talk. Maybe as a friend. Here and there. When he said, Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam, those two shlokas, number 2 and 3 in this chapter, he was not talking as a Guru. He was talking as a friend. Now, from shloka number 11 in this chapter, the actual Gita begins. I told you, though we say first shloka, last shloka, beech mein Bhagavad Gita diya hai, all that we said, first shloka of chapter 1, 78th shloka of chapter 18, in between these two Gita is given, all that is correct. But real Gita, if you see, is in between shloka number 11 of chapter 2 and shloka number 66 of chapter 18. So, first 10 shlokas here is Arjuna's despondent condition. First topic. This is what is happening. But now, from the first chapter to this, the difference is what? Like I said, there he was confused that he is clear. He was confused in the sense he didn't know. He thought he is clear. Now he is clear that he is confused. I don't know. See, our life would be much, much easy and simple, much simpler if it was underlined by I don't know, sorry, and thank you. Instead of these three, everything else will say. These three we will not say. Our ego will not allow. So, Arjuna says, he is a strong guy. This shows that he is strong. Not because he can kill so many people on the battlefield, not because he's achieved a lot of wealth for his country and got the name Dhananjaya. These are nothing. This is nothing. It doesn't matter how many people are there in front of me. Even people who are looking up to me, it doesn't matter. I will put my head on the feet of Sri Krishna. I will sit down and listen. That shows that is courage. दूसरों को जय से पहले खुद को जय करे. हम वो नहीं करेंगे कभी भी. You understand? So he is saying that. He is doing that. I don't know, Ba. Please, I am surrendering to you. This is it. Then Sri Krishna starts the actual Gita from shloka number 11. So the next topic from 11 to 30 is indestructibility of the embodied. See, this word embodied itself is a beautiful word. Dehi. Embodied means what? You are not the body. Majority of us are stuck at the body level itself. Forget about mind and intellect. It is also bad. But at the body level, we are stuck. So, embodied, it's a fascinating word. These languages like Sanskrit and Tamil, outstanding languages. They are too cultural, too deep. In Tamil Nadu, I told you, if you go to the deep village, in the cities now all that is gone. But if you go into the villages, towns, they will say even today when they go to take bath, they will say, Mel kutitwara. Male means upper layer, so outer layer, you know. We are cleansing the outer layer and coming. That's the meaning of it. Every day they are just saying, I'm going to have shower. We say like that. No, like that they're saying, Mel kutitwara. And in a daily conversation, they're talking like this. So, is beautifully saying indestructibility of the embodied. Now, the real problem is beautifully analyzed by Sri Krishna. What is the cause of Arjuna's suffering? Arjuna's suffering means all of our suffering. Swami Chinmanandaji beautifully calls this as Arjuna disease. Like all of us having corona, you know. During corona time, everybody was scared. Even if last few days I was not feeling well, having a lot of cold and cough. That's why I couldn't take 1 or 2 classes in between. Now, I don't know, if it was 3 years ago, everybody would have said, Corona, Baba, please go check, you know. So, everybody is scared of one particular disease, maybe everybody got it, I also got it, like that you think. So, like that, Chinmanandaji says, it is Arjuna disease. What is that? Attachment. Attachment is the Arjuna's disease. Everybody is suffering from that disease. The disease name is Arjuna disease. And what is the solution for it? What is the cure for it? Swami Shivanandaji says, Krishna. I think somebody's mic is on. Please put it in mute. So that is called Krishna cure. So Krishna cure begins now from chapter 2, verse 11. Krishna cure. Arjuna disease, Krishna cure. And what Sri Krishna says here when he starts, it starts with don't worry. Sri Krishna's lecture starts by saying wise people do not worry. He ends it by saying don't worry. And why are we all worried? We are all worried because of our attachment. The root cause of all our suffering is attachment. And how does the attachment come from? Where does it come from? It comes from ignorance of our true self. Ignorance of the true self. So, ignorance of our true self creates an imaginary false personality. That is this ego, Lakshmi Narayan, Vanita, etc. And this Lakshmi Narayan will have attachment because its ego is small dot, small speck. And to feel secure, it needs so many things. So the things that it has, it will be attached. And the things that it does not have, it will be craving for. This is what we are doing. Constantly trying to attach with ourselves what we do not have. And try to somehow hold on to what we have. Attachment. And because of the attachment, we suffer. So we need to gain the knowledge about who we essentially are. What is our essential nature? Atma Anatma Viveka. Dharma Adharma Viveka. These are very important knowledge. This is called essential knowledge. What we learned in schools and colleges, it is important knowledge. That is important. We need that knowledge to survive. I'm communicating to you in English. I learned that in school. I didn't learn it that properly. You understand? But I learned it in school. So, therefore, the thing is, that is helpful for survival. But the essential knowledge is Atma Anatma Viveka, Dharma Adharma Viveka. And that he gives. He straight away starts giving. That's why it's called Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of knowledge. And he straight away talks about Atma. Arjuna, wise people know that they are essentially divine. They are Atma, not this body, mind and intellect. The problem is you are imagining yourself to be this body, mind, intellect. When the Atma functions in a particular body, mind, intellect, it has come in a particular form for which the name is given Arjuna. And Arjuna is attached to that. And he is born in a particular family. So he is attached to that. He had certain experience in the past. He is attached to all that. My legacy, my property, my this thing, my that thing. Everybody is attached. So Arjuna is also attached. So because of that, he is not able to freely function. So Sri Krishna beautifully analyzed his problem. What is the problem of samsara? Attachment. Where it comes from? Ignorance of the true self. Therefore, he gives the knowledge of the true self. In the shloka number 11 to 30, he says, Atma Nitya, eternal. Atma Satya, it is truth. Atma is eternal. It is always there. And Atma is Satya. Atma Satya means, Atma is, in the example, to explain it, we say, clay and pots. Clay is Satya. Without clay, there can be no pots. Pots are dependent on clay. But clay can exist independent of being made into pots. It doesn't depend to become, for its survival, somehow have to be made into pots. Nothing like that. Clay can remain as clay. But parts cannot remain without clay. So parts are mithya, clay is satya. So Atma is satya, this body, mind, intellect, this relationship, all these are mithya. So in the mithya there is a relative reality. In satya there is absolute reality. With the understanding of this, identifying with an absolute reality, you have to go about playing your role in the relative reality. That's about it. No, so therefore, Sri Krishna talks about what is Atma. Atma, Satya, Atma, Atma, Nitya, Atma, Sarvagata. It is all pervading. Atma is not born, Ajaha. Atma not being born, it doesn't die. It is Amrita. It is beyond death. One who thinks one is killed, one who thinks one can kill, both are idiots, he says. Meaning, to think that I am doing, what am I doing? What can this body do? What can this body do? You know, Swamiji's favorite thing is, while he's giving lecture, he'll put up his finger and say, if I cut this finger and throw it on the ground, it can't function. But when the same finger is attached to this body, the body which is attached to the mind which is attached to the consciousness is able to function. The finger can do this, he says. So what is making this insentient body to function sentiently is that sentient principle, Atma. That's you. So without that, this finger can do nothing. But we are all thinking, I am the doer. And I am the one who is enjoying. So the biggest delusion is doership and enjoyership. Kartrutva bhoktrutva bhav. And Sri Krishna beautifully explains in this context, all this is bakwas, man. You know, nonsense. What kartrutva bhoktrutva bhav you are having and suffering? What you are doing? You can do nothing, you are doing nothing. Consciousness is functioning as per the nature, everything is functioning. Without that, what it can do? And you in between come and say, I am doing, I am doing. It's like saying if Lakshmi Narayan is there, Vedanta Institute Delhi will not function. Probably it will function better. I'm not saying this just to impress you. It's a fact. Yeah, all of us are in constant movement, meaning the ego keeps going. That's what he says, no? Beautifully in the very first shloka he says. Asochan anvashocastvam pragyavadamscha bhashase gatasu nagatasu na anusochanti panditaha. Wise people do not grieve for those who have come and those who have gone. Those who have come means those who are in the pipeline. They have come in, they are in the pipeline. Those who have gone, they are already gone ahead in the pipeline. They are now going to get recycled again. All of us are like that. The same thing. So once you understand this, that is permanent, that is real. If you understand about yourself, your roots will become stronger. And Arjuna, that is your problem. You have created a beautiful building. You have nicely built a building, beautiful interior decoration, architecture, everything is fine. But the structure is weak. There is no foundation only. Now Sri Krishna is laying that foundation. We are all like that. Went to some of the best schools, all that is fine. But then fundamental is weak. So that's what he's saying. Indestructibility of the embodied Atma, Anatma, Viveka. Be clear. Understand that. Very, very important, essential knowledge he gives in this. And then I explained to you when I was talking about it, I said 3 C's. Let's see if anybody remembers those 3 C's I talked about in this context. Anyone remembers? What are those 3 C's we talked about? 3C personality, I said. What is it? In our class, everybody lives in the present. Nobody remembers what happened in the past. 3 C's. Container, content, consciousness. Container is this body. Content is the mind and intellect, thoughts, vasanas. And then Much deeper is consciousness, Atma. We are these three personality only. 3C. Container, content, consciousness. These 3C put together is you, me, and all of us. In one form, Lakshmi Narayan, another form, Jaya, etc. That's all it is. Nama Rupa. This is another name for this world. Another name for this world is Nama Rupa. It's a highly philosophical word. Simply they put it, Nama Rupa. Everything is just Rupa, which is given one Nama. We need that Nama for transactional purpose. Otherwise, how will I call you? If I say, hey, everybody will turn. If I say Jaya, Jaya will say, yes, sir. So name is given. This is for transactional purpose. But we have started becoming that name. Oh, Jaya. Everywhere I see Jaya, I get little bit ego. Everywhere I see Lakshmi Narayan, I get little bit ego. It's all rubbish. So that's what he's explaining. There is no doership, no enjoyership. All this nonsense. Remove all that. He's explaining indestructibility of the Atma. And even if you think, first of all, I've explained to you, he says, you are Atma, you're not this body, mind, intellect. But somehow you say, Baba, I am this body. Then also there is a problem, he says. Because that, if you think you are body, it is born, it has to die, and it will again be born as per the vasanas. Then also where is the problem? It's like, few people have not come to the class today. What has happened to them? They are probably in some other get-together, a meeting or some other important thing. We don't know. They're there. They're not present in this room. That's all. Same thing with Satish Chawla ji. He's not present in front of us in the physical form. Somewhere he's there. The vasanas are there. Till we realize the self, the vasanas continue. And it will give us the birth again and again till we evolve and finally realize the self. So where is the loss? There also there is no loss. If you look at yourself as a container or content, then also you should not be sitting and grieving. And if you understand that you are consciousness, then definitely you should not be grieving. I don't understand why you are grieving is what he's saying. What is your problem, man? He's telling when he explains this. That's why he says, wise people do not grieve for those who have gone and those who have come. You are speaking words of wisdom, but you are grieving, he says. And beautifully explained all this between these shlokas 11 to 30. Then, now that you've understood about Atma Anatma Viveka, now you should understand from the relative angle, Dharma Adharma. Now, once you understand your Atma, but expressing as this particular body, mind, intellect with these vasanas, according to that you are a Kshatriya. According to that somebody is a Brahmana. According to that somebody is a Vaisya or a Shudra. इसमें कोई ऊपर नीचे नहीं. You understand? Somebody superior, somebody inferior, nothing like that. All this, our nonsense we have created in this world. So, but because of this, now in the context of the world, you have a certain dharma. You are a Brahmana, you have a certain dharma. If you are a Kshatriya, you have a certain dharma. If you are a Vaishya, you have a certain dharma. If you are a Shudra, you have a certain dharma. All of us will have to do our dharma and help each other. This entire universe from the relative angle, if you look at it, what is it? It is interdependent. As Atma, we are independent. So it's a beautiful thing you need to understand. From the absolute point of view, it is independence. From the relative point of view also, you have to identify with the independence, understand the interdependence, and go about doing your duty. This he beautifully explains from 31 to 40. That is the next topic. Your duty to act. Arjuna, your duty is to fight the battle. Fight, man. If you fight and win, you get the kingdom. If you die, you will go to heaven. Go to heaven means what? It's not a place you go to. You gain a lot of punya doing your duty. And even now, while doing your duty with no selfish motive, you'll be happy. That itself is heaven. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va mokshase bhayi. Beautifully explains in this portion. What is the problem? Simply do your duty, he says. And he beautifully concludes in this portion, he says, be balanced, man, in both victory and defeat. honor, dishonor, censure, praise. Don't, these are all things that come as an outcome of your action. Your job is to understand that you are a spoke in the wheel of life. In this Dharma Chakra, you are one small spoke. Every spoke has a role to play. See your role, identify it, play it, and keep moving. Like Nike slogan, just do it. I add one more to it. Just do it, and then shut up. Don't talk. Just do it. That's what Sri Krishna said. Your duty to act. Simply focus on the goal. From the relative point of view, do your dharma, identifying with your essential dharma, which is Atma. And keep doing and move. But problem is, desires come. What will I get? I want this. I want this comfort. I want that. Mind comes in between. That's the problem. So, what do? We do all actions propelled by desires. That is what he talks in the next topic. From 41 to 44. In the Veda Purva Bhaga, that is the beginning portion of the Vedas, which deals primarily with rituals, mantra, brahmana, aranyaka. This portion, which deals with rituals, they help you to fulfill your desires. Because, you see, there are certain desires which are not very powerful. You can overcome them through knowledge. But some of the desires are there. How can you overcome through knowledge? Because it's so deep in you. You know, but yet they will force you to do. So therefore, in those contexts, they help you to go through the desires dharmically and rise above that. So the rituals help you. So you're okay to follow and fulfill your desires. But the idea is to rise above the desires, not multiply the desires. But many people don't understand all this. So what do? They quote the Vedas and they will be continuously doing desire-ridden actions. That's what he talks about from 41 to 44. Topic is desire-ridden actions. He says, they quote the Vedas, flowery speech. They fall for all that, he says. The Vedas are saying, I'm doing it. They get completely, attached to this mechanical rituals. They do it very mechanically. They don't see that the rituals are a means to cleanse our personality and go to the philosophy and realize the self. They don't see it that way. They're all doing desire-ridden actions, not doing actions as karma yoga. Therefore, what happens? They'll be creating more and more vasanas. And you are supposed to reduce vasanas, not increase vasanas. But they will be increasing vasanas if they function like this. That's what he talks from 41 to 44. Then from 45 to 53, he talks about desireless actions lead to self-realization or enlightenment. 45 to 53. That is where he talks about karma yoga. Very important shloka in the Gita. 47th shloka. Karmani eva adhikaraha ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturboho mate sangostva karmani. All that we've seen, Now I can't go into too many details of those shlokas. Today's summary. So, do your actions as karma yoga. And when we talk about karma yoga, two things we should remember. What is it? Arpana bhava prasada buddhi. Doing action as an arpanam. Arpanam to Bhagavan, to Ishvara, to the Lord, to the totality. Working for a higher goal. Not just for me. See, the same Bhagavad Gita class can be done with so much ego and selfishness. I am doing this. I want name and fame. For that I may be doing. Just because I'm teaching Gita doesn't mean, I'm talking on Gita doesn't mean that I'm doing some great work. If my attitude is so selfish, it is the worst thing I can do. Or the same thing I can say, I must teach this Gita, everybody must benefit, as if I have born to revive the whole thing, It's better than the other one, but still this also has ego. Unselfish. And there is third one. doing it selflessly. Studying Gita has helped me. When I say I'm going to teach it, I'm going to study it more. It's going to help me more. And that's my duty because I want to cleanse myself. The nature is there to talk. So whoever is interested, to them I am talking. Selflessly, you can do the action. Dedicating it for the higher purpose. That is first thing in Karma Yoga. Arpana Bhava. Then you function like that, not act because you like it or avoid it because you don't like it. No, don't do all that. You don't like it, also do because that's what you're supposed to do in the total context. See, my nature is, let's say, to talk, therefore decided to do this thing. In this, certain things may be difficult for me. I may not like it personally. Nothing like that. I'm just giving example. So, even though those things are there in the larger context, I must do it. I must forget about me and mine. Do it as an arpanam. That's what he says. Then when you function like that, whatever comes out of it, accept it as prasad. Whatever you do with arpana bhav, whatever comes out of it, accept it as prasadam. No problem. Name comes, fame comes, success comes, power comes, or they say you are useless fellow, you don't know anything, what you are talking rubbish, do be take it. Take it as prasad. You understand? This is called karma yoga. Then if you have this attitude, you'll be peaceful. Samatvam yoga uchyate. You will be balanced. And he says, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Your actions will be skillful. Skillful means what? You'll be robbing the bank very skillfully? No. Skillfully means you'll do the actions, enjoy the world, be successful also over a period of time, but reducing vasanas, evolving spiritually, peaceful, and being successful. This is called skill. Being successful, not increasing vasanas, and achieving spiritual enlightenment, or at least moving in that direction. It's called skill. What we do is, we act and we get caught. Bound, more and more and more. यहाँ पर you act, you don't leave and go. You act in the world. Lekin you'll be liberating yourself. So isn't that a skill? So that's what he's talking about. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. And that person keeps on dropping the attachments to the world, becomes more and more detached mentally and losing the value, that exaggerated value that he had before. He will lose it and he'll have the right value. That is called detachment. He'll understand. Iron and gold is good for buying iron and gold. Again, famous statement by the great Swami Ramtirtha. Iron and gold is good for buying iron and gold. बस इतना ही है, उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं. So he says in the last three shlokas, that is 51, 2, 3, here Sri Krishna beautifully says the person becomes detached with the world and then gets into knowledge, meditation, and realizes the self and becomes enlightened. Sthita prajnaha. Nyaha means one who knows. Prajnaha means one who knows well. Sthita prajnaha, sthira prajnaha means one who knows well, totally transformed, established in that knowledge 24/7, 365 days. In whatever season, whether anything can happen, that person is enlightened. Enlightenment cannot be taken away. That is called Sthita Prajna. So he says, you become Sthita Prajna. Now Arjuna asks, please talk to me about Sthita Prajna. From verse number 54 to 72, that is the last topic, description of enlightened soul. Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadi kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. He is asked. Arjuna asked Sri Krishna, please describe Sthita Prajna. How does he sit? How does he talk? How does he walk? Meaning, what is his inner state? What is the impact of the world upon him? How does he impact the world? All that he talks about. He's asking, please tell me, I want to know. Because if I have to get there, let me have some idea about it. See, asking to paint the picture of a perfect human being. And there is no such thing as perfection externally. Remember that example we discussed, the story that happened between the Emperor Akbar and Birbal. Apparently, Akbar drew a line on the board and said, Birbal, make it short without touching it. And what did he do? He drew another line which is longer than that, bigger than that. Automatically, the other line became short. So there is no such thing as perfection in the world. If you're looking for perfection in the world, you'll go mad. You will go mad, you will drive everybody mad also. You go to somebody's house, you can't relax and sit also. You don't put your feet here, this thing, that thing. Eating also, to be very, very careful. I mean, fine, it's good if you learn all that, but then somewhere down the line, you have to draw the line. It's a big problem it is. So, there is no such thing as perfection outside, but there is perfection within you. You are perfect. So, that is asking Arjuna, talk to me about Stata Prajna. Then Sri Krishna drew the picture of a Stata Prajna beautifully. 55, 56, 57, 58. He talks about it. And then from 59 till 68, he tells you how to get there. See, you are already Atma. You are already enlightened. You are that. You are that divinity. You do not know that today. So the ignorance is covering it. That covering has to be removed. And once that covering is removed, the truth reveals itself. You don't have to do anything. You're not supposed to attain anything. You are already that. You are supposed to get enlightened again. Enlightened again in the sense, know that you are enlightened. So, you have to do sadhana after gaining this information. Do sadhana, purify yourself through karma yoga, chitta shuddhi, through upasana yoga, chitta ekagrata, and then through jnana yoga, bring about that ultimate transformation through meditation. You realize the self. So, he emphasizes on sense control, mind control, all that in this portion from 59 till 68. Then 69 to 72, again, he draws the picture of a perfect human being from a different angle. There he said, the wise person and the unwise person completely ulta things they do. I explained that. What did we say? During the daytime, we are all roaming around like zombies. Something we are chasing, pata nahi kyun chase kar rahe. Everybody is running, Baba. I'm also running. So, like sleepwalkers, we are living our life. Whereas a Mahatma is living his life with full awareness, and in sleep also that awareness is retained. For which I gave the example of Lord Buddha. When he sleeps on one side because he doesn't want to lie flat where he will be occupying more place, which means he may be killing more insects. So he sleeps like this on one side. And full night he sleeps like that for 3 hours or 5 hours, how many ever number of hours he sleeps. He sleeps like that, retaining that posture with full awareness, even in sleep. During daytime, we are running around following our desires with no awareness whatsoever. And in sleep, he's retaining the awareness. Like a pregnant lady, I told you, even in sleep, she's aware that she is pregnant. And when she turns in sleep, also, she'll be careful. So, Sutta Prajna retains the awareness 24/7. In waking state itself, we don't have awareness. Simply chasing our desires here and there, running, going on, accumulating, not knowing what to do, suffering. This is our halat. So he says, whereas the Siddha Prajna is fully aware, he's like paripurna. So you have to bring about sense control, mind control. A lot of sadhana is involved in it. When you do sadhana along with the knowledge, then the real knowledge from within reveals itself. Simply going on studying, doing no sadhana, no lifestyle, corroboratory lifestyle we follow, all kinds of things we do, but simply we study Gita whenever it is convenient. Then we think, but nothing is happening. If something happens, we should be concerned. Nothing is happening because you're not doing sadhana. You do sadhana, something will happen. That's what Sri Krishna says. So, sense control, mind, sorry, mind control and all that, then the self reveals itself, he explains. So, the entire Gita, actually, the knowledge, is packaged it nicely in the second chapter. In the second chapter and the 18th chapter, the entire Gita is given from different angles. In between, the whole thing is explained in detail. So, if you actually study second chapter properly, you'll get the entire Gita. If you study the 18th chapter, you'll get the entire Gita. That doesn't mean in between you don't study. 3rd to 17 nicely explains, and that explanation is needed for us to make us understand and live. We should lead Gita lifestyle. Gita should be in our life. Like Swami Ramtita says, Vedanta is there everywhere. The running brooks, in the rocks. It's like that, in our breath it should be. Okay, fine, we may fall once in a while, but rise like a rubber ball, not fall like a lead plate. So beautifully concludes, you're like that ocean, man. You are that ocean. This is that state of Brahman. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. That is your original state. That is what you are. This is the summary of the entire second chapter. Now, next week, we will do chapter 3. We'll start chapter 3, Karma Yoga. It's another beautiful chapter. Everybody thinks Gita talks about running away, renunciation. Nobody should be responsible. This is what they think. One full chapter is talking about action. Karma Yoga means yoga of action, science of action. In that chapter, what does he talk? He says, what is action? Why you should do it? How you should do it? What is the right action? The technique of right action. What are the impediments that will come while doing those actions? How to overcome those impediments? Complete explanation is given about action. Full chapter. Everybody is saying Bhagavad Gita इतना जल्दी क्यों ले रहे हैं यार भैया 60 के बाद पढ़ो अभी क्यों इतना जल्दी क्या you understand whereas Gita is giving us knowledge of living. It is living knowledge. It is even practical in today's context. All we need to do is we have to put in our efforts and draw the philosophy out of it. So let's conclude the class. Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.